What's up, fight fans? Mr. Mustache here. This Saturday, UFC 291, we got Justin Gaethje taking on Dustin Poirier in their highly anticipated rematch for the BMF belt. Let's get into that first really quick. The BMF belt. Yeah, it's pretty cheesy to me. I'm not the biggest fan of it. I understand why the UFC's doing that. They need a reason to sell the fight for a pay-per-view, so they put up a belt. I don't even think they even really need to fucking technically do that. I think having these guys as a main event, even for a pay-per-view without a belt, I think you could totally justify. But that's besides the point. The BMF belt was created back, I think it was 2019, for the Nate Diaz versus Jorge Masvidal fight. Jorge won that, became the BMF. And now that he has since retired, the UFC is now bringing it back to kind of like, who's going to carry on the bad motherfucker belt? So it's kind of cheesy, but I get it, that they're using it as a ploy to sell fights, kind of WWE style. And it's probably going to work. But whatever. So that's just kind of my feelings on the whole BMF thing. But nonetheless, I love this fight. Both guys, 34, both 6-2 since they last fought each other. Both of them, their two losses are to Charles Oliveira and Khabib. I mean, their careers have completely mirrored one another since they both shared the octagon last. So this is very interesting to see. I love this fight. I think where they're at in their careers are definitely different. The last fight with Justin taking the loss, that was kind of the turning point in Gaethje's career where he's like, all right, like I'm here to stay. Like I'm not here to put on entertaining fights. I'm here to stay and try and chase for titles. And that's where we saw a more collected, more patient, more precise, picked his shots better, just a more well-rounded fighter in Justin Gaethje. And we saw his career blossom after that loss against Dustin Poirier. Where Dustin just, he just kind of does what he does, and he was already very successful before that point and has continued that success and just hasn't been able to reach undisputed gold, but has been the interim champ. At one point was the people's champ before he lost to Charles Oliveira. So just everything about this rematch is great. But what I think here, with all the time that has passed, I think Gaethje just has a little bit more in the tank competitively than Dustin Poirier. I think Dustin has achieved so much success after the Conor fights. Yeah, he's coming off of the victory against Michael Chandler, but he's talked so much about retirement. I just feel like he's just a little bit more out than Justin Gaethje is. Where I think Gaethje, he's talked about retirement so much. I think purely just out of anger that the UFC has kind of flirted with all these other guys before him so many times in the past, getting title shots. I think Gaethje just competitively, I think he's just there more than Dustin Poirier is. I think that the changes that he's made since their first fight, I think that he is a much more different fighter than what he was in the first matchup. Sorry. And yes, I do think Dustin definitely has the ability to go out there and get the victory again. But I just think right now, in their careers, in this rematch, it's a different fight. I think Gaethje's a different fighter. Where Dustin Poirier, I think that he's been able to handle the pressure, stay composed, sharpen up his striking, definitely. But I just think Poirier, he seems to be closer to the exit mentally than Justin Gaethje is. And that's where I think Justin Gaethje is going to have the edge here. And that if Dustin doesn't get him early, I think as the fight continues, I think Gaethje is going to find more and more success. But nonetheless, I love this fight. Winner definitely continues. I think loser probably retires. I just think that just kind of where they are in their career. I know if Gaethje loses to Dustin, he's going to have to fight a lot more guys to get back into that title picture. That's just what the UFC is going to force him to do. And Dustin, if he loses, I think, like I said before, I just think that he's already talked about it so much. I almost even think win or lose, I think Poirier might even go out and just say, like, this is it. Like, what else is there to really accomplish? I'm curious to see, though. But I think the ending of this Saturday is going to be very interesting. I think someone's going to retire. If not, both guys might retire. We might get a surprise there because of where they are, what happens. Like if I don't know. But I love it. I think that Gaethje, though, I think he has just a little bit more to take competitively, and I think that's going to be his edge. in this matchup. Guys, let me know in the comment section what you guys think for this main event this Saturday, UFC 291, Justin Gaethje versus Dustin Poirier Part 2. Love to hear guys' thoughts in the comment section. And guys, please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button to continue getting more MMA content by yours truly. Mr. Mustache, MMA News out. Let's fucking go, fight fans.